Hi, welcome to Freelance Business for Creatives, to my presentation, How to be Digitally Organized as a Creative. My name is Karen Visser and I learn people how to work smarter, not harder. And my contribution to this online event will be about how you as a creative can be digitally organized, in the sense that your computer is not a place where you lose stuff in, but where you find stuff. And if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat. This is a recorded presentation, but I am online and I will be able to answer any questions you may have. If at any possible, I'll answer them in the chat. And if not, then I will make sure to contact you afterwards if you can send me your email address. But any questions can be asked in the chat. Okay, well, welcome then to this presentation. And well, to outline what I will be telling you, I have three main talking points which I will share with you. First of all, we're going to look at how structure and order can affect your work productivity. Structure and order in the digital sense, because I know that creatives in general are not really fond of order, because, well, order and creativity sometimes seem, well, opposing terms, something that two things that don't go hand in hand. But we will see how it can affect your work productivity. Secondly, what's important when organizing your digital work? What are the things you need to look into? What are the things you need to sort out, need to value? And what are the things that the steps you need to take to ensure that your work is preserved for the future and found easily? Thirdly, I'm going to tell you how creative work can benefit from better organization. Because creative work is unique and you all do it in your own way and it all has value, but organizing it better can help you to get more done, even have more time for your creativity. But well, I can understand that well, creativity is a specific type of person, because I've been working with, well, numerous creative clients over the years. I've been a trainer and a professional organizer for about 12 years now, helping people to get their work organized in the way which is most suitable for them and for their profile. Because well, over the years I've been working with different types of clients, technical, rational people, creative, out of the box thinking people, and everything in between. And from what I've seen is that everyone needs to organize their work in a way that they find most logic, most suitable, and most, well, usable. Because for you, it needs to be like, well, it needs to fit like a glove. So what my motto has been over these years is that one size does not fit all. So I look into every type of theory and concept, as there are many. For instance, getting things done is quite a well-known theme in my field of expertise, and that's very useful, but not for everyone and not for the 100%. But looking into creatives, it has given me, well, interesting insights. So a few years ago, I believe it was 2015, I wrote a book called Final Dev version 3. In Dutch, it said Digitaal opruimen voor de creatieve industrie, which means getting organized digitally for the creative industry. So Final Dev version 3 dealt with this exact subject, how to be digitally organized as a creative, because that may be difficult. But if you're a photographer, if you're a designer, a web designer, or well, any type of other creative person, maybe you're more of a writer and less of a visual person, then organizing your computer is still very important. Although I do understand it may not be your favorite task. The words structure and order may seem boring to you and not something to get personally involved with. But no matter how small or large your business is, you will have to have some form of structure to work with. And how you do that, to what extent, and which aspects you may be able to delegate or skip altogether. It's just not a one-size-fits-all approach, just as I told you. And you should know that structure and order has to be implemented in a way that feels logical for you and works well with your style, because you'll be the one working with it daily. So it's only your opinion that matters. So whatever chaos you think you may have, well, you can organize it in a way that you find logical and easy to use. And the fact that it's not your favorite tasks, well, it's no wonder. You're a creative person, and people who are creative have well, different characteristics, I should say. So it's not really surprising that you may not be the most organized person, because being a creative sets you apart in two important ways. First of all, you use your brain less efficient than non-creatives do. And using your brain in the most efficient manner means to go for what you already know, what you already think, what you already feel, while a creative brain prefers to make new connections and new combinations. And well, brains are sort of designed to be efficient, because brains, well, when they were designed or evolved a long time ago, no matter what you call it, efficiency was something that's useful, because while everything happens automatically, you'll be able to watch out for that, I don't know, that glacier that's slipping down the slope, or that mammoth which is coming around the corner. So your brain wanted you to have free room to think and free room to watch out for dangerous stuff. But creative brains, well, they're different. They can switch from the big picture to details in a short amount of time and back with no predictable route in between. You want to be original, you want to be different, so your brain is also wired, or at least prefers to be used in a different way. The second thing that sets you apart from less creative or non-creative brains is that there's a good chance that you prefer tasks that require you to use your visual talents. And when keeping in mind that seeing, your eyes, your visual sense is the most dominant sense for every human being, it's no surprise that for creatives, visual is the preferred sense. And I had a creative client once who thought that the way I organized my books was appalling. He was horrified when he came over and he noticed my bookshelves, and my books were, to him, a seemingly random mix of colors and sizes and shapes. I thought they were perfectly organized, because for me, categorizing my books by subject seemed much more logical and easier to find what I need. If I had books about, for instance, burnout and stress, they were in the same spot, or books about email, or books about, well, any subject you may think of. But he said he would remember, if he wanted to find a book again, if the book was red or blue. And I did not register that for the books I have. I would forget that aspect, and I would be able to recall the title and the subject of the book much better. So for me, it was logical to have it organized by subject, by content, while he was much more affected by the shape and the form and the color of the book. So well, what you see often now is books organized like a rainbow, color by color, red books and orange books together, blue books and green books together. But well, for creative persons, that appeals much more to their style. And still, being creative is fine. It's different. It's not better. It's not worse than any type of other brain. It's just different. But when you are a creative professional and you want to, well, to make money doing what you do, there are also things you need to keep in mind if you want to be able to be successful. And there are some signs that you better adjust, clear signs that you may need to adjust the way you're working now. And 3 of them I've put here together. First of all, when you have, well, lost assignments and clients, perhaps because you had trouble organizing work, causing delays. So you said a client, sure, it will be done, or sure, I'll find that that document that you wanted regarding this subject. If you've lost assignments and clients because you were, well, a bit more chaotic than preferable, that may be a sign that you would do better in adjusting your approach and the way you organize your computer. Secondly, if you cannot find certain work because you forgot which folder or even which location you filed it, if you have, I don't know, a backup somewhere, or a cloud account somewhere in which you store documents, but the folders are a mess, or there aren't even folders, it's just a huge amount of files. If you cannot find certain work, but you're sure you made it before and you would like to, well, review it or even reuse it, it's such a shame if you cannot find it anymore. And thirdly, a sign that you would better adjust your approach would be, for me, if it were clear that you lack focus. Focus for what you excel at, because you are distracted by administrative tasks. And the focus to me is what would be, well, preferable for everyone to have, but especially for someone who enjoys to be, well, creative and playing around with his or her thoughts and ideas. It would be a shame if you're distracted by administrative tasks. And those signs that you better adjust because you've lost stuff, or lost assignments, cannot find stuff, or lack focus. Well, you can see that as a loss of work, money, time, focus, clients, opportunities, or even peace of mind for yourself, because you think, oh, I have to find this, or where are my where's that invoice I need to send, or where's that overview or that list, or anything that you think is valuable. And if you cannot find it, if you don't have it organized, then it will bog you down. And that's a shame. That's not what you need. It all comes down to loss. And of course, if I were to look at your workplaces or in your computers, well, I think mess is a subjective term, because if we consider the need for structure in a messy environment, that many people think that chaos is visible immediately. And if I were to show you these 2 pictures, which one would you consider to be the most chaotic person? Well, looking at the pictures, it seems quite clear. If I were to use a poll right now and then have you vote on which picture is the most chaotic person, many of you would perhaps vote for the picture on the right. Instinctively, you might feel that the desk on the right is much messier than the one on the left. And on the surface, it may seem that way, but there's a good chance that the person on the right can easily find a document when asked for it. Sure, the green folder, there's the document you're looking for, the one in the middle of the pile. Because the person on the right may not be, well, visually sensitive. They may not care for, well, organized environments, but they may be very well be able to find whatever they're looking for and have their stuff organized in their own personal way. While the person on the left may seem pretty organized, but this may not be the case. The computer does seem, well, neat, huh? A phone next to it and, well, some pens, but still you don't know. So if we're taking a closer look at these 2 desks, these 2 people, what are they working with? And you see these two pictures if you zoom in on them. And looking at the files more closely, you can see that the laptop on the left is not a very organized one. The documents aren't sorted with any type of structure in mind, or, well, maybe the person tried, but tried at various moments with various approaches and, well, didn't really follow through. For instance, file names seem arbitrary. Should we put the date first or the year first? And what on earth is the difference between ABC project files and project ABC 2020-2021? Where should I put one document? Because many can go into both. So chances are that it may take you quite some time to find what you need, and which is something that you would assume when seeing the pile of papers on the right. But messy computers are one of the most common issues in modern day digital work, because people just file it, just create it, just save it, and, well, disregard any future use. And regardless of your profession, this is something that will harm your productivity and focus. So the person on the right, if I visit my clients, I used to do it before the pandemic, and sit at their desks, I wouldn't automatically recommend a person with folders like the one on the right to get a clean desk, to get them out. If that's a security issue or a confidentiality issue for their employer, that's another thing. But to remain organized, it doesn't mean that you don't use paper or that you get rid of it. The one on the left is one that requires, well, a lot of attention. And with regard to organizing yourself digitally, there are three big risks to encounter. And due to the increased amount of folders and documents created in the world, those risks come into play pretty quickly. And the three biggest risks are these. First of all, the downside of enthusiasm. The one you see at the top, the elephant starting too big, wanting to get this all done today or tomorrow. And similar to your inability to eat an elephant in one bite, chances are you cannot get digitally organized in one sweep. Better is to make small changes, but keeping your pace and continue on your path. Because as the saying goes, every long journey starts with one small step, and, well, a million small steps get you from here to, well, to China, perhaps. So starting too big is not a good idea. If you are considering getting organized better, you should start with one small step. And the second risk you will be running, one in the middle, is to be indecisive, to run around like a headless chicken. Will I organize my folders alphabetically, numerically? Will I make a folder for communication with every individual, or only one per project? You could tell from the person in the previous slide with the file names that starting any and every approach that you come up with is not a good idea. Don't go running around like a headless chicken. Better is to make a choice and stick with that choice for a while until you have evidence that changes should be made. And once again, there is no ideal solution for everyone, only an ideal solution for you, for something that goes with your style and your preferences. And the third risk in this collection of risks is procrastination on correct naming or renaming. And after you've made that choice, you're not a headless chicken. You don't run around like one. You made a choice on how you want to name folders and documents. Keep on doing this. Make it part of your process, because it may feel like a dull task, not one you enjoy, but if you don't do it at the time of creation of a file, you won't be doing it afterwards. So make correct naming part of your process. And for renaming, once again, like that elephant, do it in little chunks. Boring tasks are best swallowed in small bites. So if you have an approach, you've made a choice, Do it every time you create a file. And of course, once you start and you have a huge number of files and folders to be sorted out, it's the same thing like having a big cupboard with lots of drawers and lots of shelves where you need to delve into. One shelf at a time, one drawer at a time, small steps, but keep on doing it once you've made a choice. So these three risks are really important to keep in mind. Well, the one question to ask yourself is this: is there a balance between the effort I put in my system and the results it's giving me? Because if you have a system in place, this is the question to ask yourself. Because I regularly see clients create the most elaborate digital archive, almost hyper archiving, I call it sometimes, where they think they need a complicated structure to be organized, and that's not a requirement. Do what works for you and strike that balance between efforts and results. If your archive is in email, for instance, if you prefer to just have one folder which says 2021 and you dump everything in there and you use the search function to find your emails, great. If that works for you, keep it like that. Most important thing is to think about what you're doing and how you're doing it. So is there a balance between the effort I put in my system and the results it's giving me? Well, there are three things. Well, I've told you before that it's not one size fits all, but there are three things everyone needs. And first of all, that's a rhythm, a regular moments to perform these tasks. I've told you before that you should rename or name a document anytime you create it, but to get organized, to pay attention to your digital folders, it should require a rhythm. So a regular moment in your calendar to perform it, and better to have, I don't know, 15 or 30 minutes per week for this than one whole day every month. So make it small, because small chunks are easily swallowed. Huge tasks, huge chunks are not. So rhythm is key to get this into your system. And second of all, focus. You require focus. So minimize distractions, sound, visual, or other. When you are doing this task, when you are reorganizing your files or organizing your administrative side of your business, use focus. Give yourself a chunk of time, for instance, 15 or 30 minutes. Put on some music, put on some headphones, do whatever it takes for you to focus. And do not get distracted by other things, because this is the time where you invest in your organization. And thirdly, what everyone needs is, well, I call it your own little checklist or process, what to do. For instance, I have a client who has a reminder in her email agenda, or in her calendar, which says every time she needs to do her administrative work, the steps to do, where to download this, where to upload that. And by following those steps, the chances that she will be doing the tasks are, well, much higher than it would be, oh, do administration. Because then she would start to think back, oh, but where was that folder again? And what was I supposed to do with it? And because it takes energy to think about it, and then she won't be doing it. So having a little checklist or process, what to do, increases the odds that you will be doing it, that you will be successful about it. Well, if you're convinced that, well, this may be a good idea, getting digitally organized, I've told you what the three biggest risks are, and I've told you what everyone needs. How do you get started tomorrow? If you're enthusiastic about it, what can you do? Well, I will share best practices for three areas in which you get started tomorrow. And the first is creating and finding files. And my best advice for you when thinking about creating and finding files, things that you have created before, be as lazy as possible. And there are three programs you see here, Xtype for Mac, Text Expander, and If This, Then That.
well, the first two, X-Type and Text Expander, both help you to produce larger amounts of text by using simple commands and snippets of text. And there are tons of lazy services to help you like this, to help you in creating and finding files. And the third, If This Then That, is a combination program for which you design your own recipe, as it's called. And for instance, if you change your profile picture on Twitter, you can get If This Then That to change your picture on other platforms automatically, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, if you've given it this recipe. If I do this, then do that. And the program does the last thing for you. And something else you want to invest time and effort in are good online bookmarks, both to web pages and to folders and files that you use often. So make sure that you have an updated list of online bookmarks to ensure that you reach pages, that you reach documents as quickly as possible. And thirdly, for creating and finding files, it's wise to increase your knowledge of keyboard shortcuts. And this will help you save time and are often a better choice health-wise than just using the mouse. So print that list and tape it to your monitor. Get a paper version, because if you only save it digitally, you will forget about it. And I used to have a client who had this little post-it on her monitor, and it said a shortcut of the day. And she put it on and she left it there for a few days sometimes, and she really tried to get that shortcut into her system, into her approach. And she really had a lot of use for that. Lastly, create a place for regular brain dumps, because if you know that you are prone to those fantastic ideas at the most unpredictable moments, it helps to get an app for that. For instance, Brain Toss for iPhone is a very useful one, or Evernote for both your phone and your computer. Do create a place for regular brain dumps, things that don't have a label, don't have a name, but you don't want them to get lost either. The second thing you can do starting tomorrow is good file management. And that has these things I want to share with you. First of all, create a naming structure that is unique and meaningful to you. Something that you think makes sense, that you think is logical, or that the people and the organizations you work with find logical. And start with a new empty folder structure, which you later fill with existing files. So don't try to rename folders you already have, because chances are you won't be able to do that in one sweep, and that you will have old names and new names together, and it will become a mess. So review older folders one step at a time, either delete or rename or then move the files, but start with that new empty folder structure. Make a clean slate out of it. That's the best approach to get it organized. And the third thing, starting tomorrow, which you can do differently, is good email management. And about good email management, there are a few things I want to share with you. First of all, I think this is the most important thing you can do with your email, regardless of the program you use or your profession, to open, is to diagnose. So do not go mark as unread without doing anything with an email. Always think, what is my next step and how do I label this? And you can do that with color codes in Outlook, or with labels in Gmail, or in mail for your iMac. Label it in any way, shape, or form. But do take that moment to think about the next step. It doesn't mean you have to answer the email at that time, but you do have to think about what needs to be done. And of course, regarding email management, you win a lot of time. You save a lot of energy by automating your email processing with rules or Apple scripts. So think about the emails you receive and what you normally do with them. and automate that email processing. Use those rules, use those Apple scripts, and look into what they can bring you, because it saves a lot of time, a lot of energy, it gives you a lot of focus. Also, with regard to email, let delete be your default, not file. I've seen so many people with an inbox which is completely blown out of proportion with huge amounts of emails. But saving should not be your default approach. Delete should be the one, because it's delete the email unless there is a, well, significant reason not to be doing that. And make your folder structure as relaxed as possible. And as relaxed as possible means that you shouldn't hyper archive, as I said before. Don't make a huge tree structure, well, going down to sub folders. Make it as relaxed as possible. Be lazy here, because finding email will be much easier. Well, in any case, if you label it, but the search function has so many possibilities that creating folders is not really something you need. So those are 3 things you can get started on tomorrow. And to sum it all up, this was my story. You should watch out for signs to adjust. If you recognize yourself in this, if you think that, well, maybe this is me, watch out for those signs. And do know that mess is a subjective term. If people comment on your desk being messy, who cares? But your computer messy, that's a different thing. That's something to look into and see where you can get organized. And then it's important to know those 3 biggest risks I told you before, with the elephant hat, starting too big, running around like a headless chicken, and procrastination on correct naming or renaming. But the most important thing is to balance your efforts with your results, to create a system that works for you. And getting started tomorrow, you can do that already on creating and finding files, on file management, or on email management. So this was my story, and I hope you heard things you haven't heard before, or at least you got motivated to start doing it now. And I said it before, take one small step. I'd rather you have one small step that you'll be doing tomorrow and every day afterwards than a huge step that you will start but not finish. So keep it small. And well, thank you for your time. Feel free to connect. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my profile name, so feel free to add me there, or visit my website, newbroom.nl. So if you have any questions, you can connect with me there, or well, if you haven't asked them in the chat already, and you can also connect with me on this event platform. Well, thank you very much, and good luck in getting digitally organized.